Mr. September title. Going into this year's playoffs, you're the only one who's played in all 16 playoff events, including Tour Championship. You have 2 wins, 2 seconds, 10 top 10s, $5.7 million. For many people, that's a career. The Mr. September tag. Do you take pride in that?
I do, I guess. It's something that I don't think about, you know, obviously when I get into the playoff situation, but I take a lot of pride in that, and it's always a lot of fun to play well during the playoffs. There's a lot riding on it, and you know, it's kind of a corny little name, I guess, for me. I'm not big on that kind of stuff, but it's pretty cool.
Ironic, Stricker's game heats up in September because it's during the cold Wisconsin winters, inside a trailer, in front of a mirror, and under the watchful eye of his father-in-law, Dennis Tiziani, where he does most of his work.
Actually, the winters have been great for me ever since he put those trailers in. I hit a tremendous amount of balls. I'll tinker with my swing a little bit, try to make some subtle changes here and there, but that's when I hit the majority of my balls. In the summertime, I just play. So it's kind of weird, you know, living up in Wisconsin and hitting all your golf balls during the wintertime, but that's what works for me.
Hard to imagine that in 2004 he failed to keep his PGA Tour card and went 6 years between wins. But at the Barclays in 2007, it was clear Stricker was back. Let's go back to the win at Westchester, the first one in the playoffs. Very emotional for you. What are your memories of that, closing that tournament out, and the reaction to it?
The way I closed it out was very important. I made a birdie at the par 3, 16, birdied 17, birdied 18. Close it out like you want to close it out.
With a birdie, there's your champion.
The previous win was back in 2001, so it was a tough time. You know, it was tough, and you know, it was an emotional victory. It was something that it proved to me that I could do it again. I worked hard to try to get to that point, and to have actually won at Westchester, you know, it all came flowing out.
Never knew if I was going to win again, you know, but tell you what, this is sweet.
You know, it was a lot of hard work and dedication up to that point, and it finally happened.
And he would repeat that September success at the TPC Boston 2 years later at the Deutsche Bank Championship.
Mr. September continues a playoff run here.
I was watching the telecast, and I don't know if it was Johnny, I think it was Johnny, who said basically,
there's contenders and there's closers. See if he's one of the few that are closers.
I don't know if you remember that moment or that closing stretch at Deutsche Bank, but take us back to that.
I think what you're talking about is 17. I hit a 9-iron in there at about 15 feet below the hole and made the putt.
Johnny just answered your question.
And it was an important putt. You know, that's, Tiz and I always talk about defining moments in a golf tournament, and that probably was a defining moment, you know, which led me on to that victory. So took off the pressure, I should say, going down the 18th as a par 5, and you know, you could play it a little more conservatively, and led me to the victory there.
Victories are something Stricker's become accustomed to late in his career. 8 of his 11 PGA Tour wins have come after hitting age 40. Stricker has become one of America's best players.
Oh my goodness! Steve Stricker!
I try not to think about it too much in that regard. We all know who, you know, really the top American guys are, you know, the guys that draw the people in here, the guys that have won majors, you know, Tiger, Phil, guys that have proven themselves in these big-time tournaments, and I'm not there yet. So I still feel like I'm kind of in the background, and that's the way I like it. You know, I don't need to be at the forefront of anything, and you know, I just go about my own business and try to let all that other stuff take care of itself.
Because he spent so much time near the top of the world rankings, Stricker has also shared time alongside Tiger Woods, both in the FedEx Cup playoffs and in the last 2 team events for Team USA. You defer to Tiger, as everybody did for a while there, but really playing with him in the playoffs, in the circus, and then as his partner in the President's Cup has made you a better player, because it's taught you that your shot pattern maybe is better at times, you can compete, you can handle the crowds.
No doubt about it. You know, what's crazy is I played with him earlier in my career, and I was very intimidated. You know, we played after my 96 season. I had a good 96 season. We played in 97, and my game didn't stack up to his in any way, shape, or form. And that intimidated me, and it kind of sent me into a little bit of a funk, you know, just thinking I needed to get better, which I did. But, you know, now playing with him more recently, the last 3-4 years, and playing with him quite a bit, you know, President's Cup, Ryder Cups.
And how about Stricker with back-to-back birdies?
You know, you're right. It has made me a better player because I feel more comfortable around them, feel more comfortable around better players. You know, and I'm older, I'm more mature, and I think that's just all this together has gotten me to be a better player.
Away from the course, family time and deer hunting are what Stricker enjoys. When it really comes down to it, Stricker, you're a guy who's just totally happy back in Wisconsin with the people you fish with the people you hunt with, going in those stores to buy bait, right? Basically, that's your world.
That is my world, yeah. We were just up north with my family and put out a couple food plots with my father-in-law and put out some cameras, so they're out there capturing those deer, walking by hopefully, and you know, I really feel comfortable being there, and it's actually hard to come back on the road.
Right.
You know, it's doing stuff like this, you know, is not the easiest thing for me in the world, but it's, you know, it's almost like two different lives, and I really enjoy the life that I have back in Wisconsin.
Talking to your father-in-law, Dennis Tiziani, recently, he made the point that everybody matures in life and in their careers at different times, making the point that it came together for you more in your late 30s to early 40s, and now look at you, Mr. September, #1 ranked American player in the world. Is all this stuff humbling to you, or is it something that you accept as just part of your timeline?
It's pretty surreal at times. You know, I didn't really envision this about 6 years ago when I kind of rededicated myself to working harder at it and trying to get back to where I once was. I never really thought some of this stuff would have happened. I'm very, like you said, humbled about it, and it's been a great ride, and I'm just trying to ride it out as long as I can.